The Galactic Survival Championship had never seen anything like Jake Morrison. Commander Vex of the Krillian Empire watched through the observation deck as the human stood in the center of the combat arena, surrounded by nothing but scattered debris and standard maintenance equipment. The pale yellow sun of Arcturus 9 beat down on the circular platform which hovered 300 above a churning sea of ammonia. Begin improvisation test. Vex Storther announced his translator, rendering his clicks and chirps into standard galactic contestant Morrison. You have 60 standard units to create a functional weapon from available materials. Your opponent will be released upon completion or timeout. Jake nodded. Hyes is already scanning the arena. 12 other species had attempted this test today. The Zentri warrior had fashioned the crude spear in 45 units. The Morphe had created an acid projector in 32. Both had survived their opponents barely. Timer starts now. What happened next will be discussed in xenoanthropology classes. For decades, Jake's hands moved with frightening purpose. He grabbed a compressed air canister from a ventilation unit, spinning it twice to check the pressure gauge. Still reading green. Good. His boots crunched across broken glass as he raked for an industrial adhesive sprayer, the kind used to seal hole breaches on transport ships. What is he doing? Asked Lieutenant Saras, a crystalline being from the Halcyon system. Those items have no combat application. Vexter said nothing, but his sensory tendrils twitched with curiosity. Jake's fingers flew across the adhesive sprayer's mechanism, yanking out the safety limiters with sharp crack. Het twisted the nozzle counterclockwise, widening the aperture to maximum dispersion. The human's face showed intense concentration, but no panic, no fear. Just calculated aggression. 0.7 seconds had elapsed. From his utility belt, Jake produced a standard-issue plasma lighter. Every contestant was given one for emergency fire starting. He wedged it against the sprayer's trigger mechanism, using a piece of wire stripped from a damaged computer console. The setup was crude, almost primitive, but there was an undeniable logic to it. He's creating a chemical projector, Vexter realized aloud. But the adhesive isn't corrosive enough, too. The commander stopped mid-sentence as Jake grabbed a bottle of industrial degreaser, the kind that carried 16 warning labels in 4 languages. The human twisted off the cap and began pouring it directly into the adhesive sprayer's reservoir, mixing it with the remaining adhesive compound. 0.11 seconds. Jake held up his creation, a Frankenstein combination of parts that should never work together. The compressed air canister was ducked to pedal the sprayer assembly. The plasma lighter's ignition element was positioned directly in front of the nozzle. The mixed chemical cocktail slosh in the transparent reservoir. 0.12 seconds announced the automated system. Jake pressed the trigger experimentally. A stream of mixed chemicals shot forward 3M, and the plasma lighter flame caught at midair. The spray ignited with a whoosh that echoed across the arena, creating a cone of burning liquid that splattered across the arena floor. The adhesive component made the fire stick those surfaces, burning intensely as feed greaser accelerated combustion. The human had created a functional flamethrower in 12 seconds. The observation deck fell silent. Even the Zenthri ambassador, a species that prided itself on martial prowess, stood motionless. Release the opponent, Vexter ordered, his voice barely above a whisper. The arena's far gate opened and Derazabak emerged. 0.3M, a bioengineered killing machine, all teeth claws and armored hide. Ithad taken down the last 4 contestants, earning the arena medic substantial overtime. The Razorback charged, its 6 legs pounding across the metal platform with thunderous impact. It had learned to dodge spears and avoid acid. It had never faced fire. Jake didn't hesitate. He squeezed the trigger and swept the flamethrower in a wide arc. The burning chemical mixture splashed across the Razorback's face and chest, and the creature's roar of aggression turned to a shriek of pain. The adhesive made the flames cling to its armor and scramble backward, trying desperately to escape the heat. Contestant Morrison wins, the automated system declared. Jake released the trigger and casually dismantled his weapon, separating components with practiced efficiency. He looked up at the observation deck and offered a slight shrug as if to say, "What did you expect?" That evening, in the contestants' lounge, Jake found himself surrounded by curious aliens. The morphoscientist, Dr. Kelleth, clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. "Your species has a saying. Yes, necessity is the mother of invention." Jake took a sip of his protein shake. "That's one of them. But how did you know those components would combine effectively?" The chemical interaction alone required multiple calculations that I'm from Texas. Jake interrupted with Agrin. "My grandfather taught me to weld when I was 8. My dad ran a garage. You grow up figuring out how to make dough with what you've got. Plus, I watched a lot of action movies." Vexter approached the human, his respect evident in his posture. "Your performance today was unprecedented. Most species see tools as having singular purposes. You saw potential weapons everywhere." Jake set down his drink. "Commander, humans come from a death world. We didn't have armor or claws or natural weapons. We had brains and opposable thumbs. We learned to turn everything into a tool, and every tool into a weapon if we had to. Rocks became hammers. Hammers became weapons. Sticks became spears. Spears became ladles. Lot less became rifles. It's what we do. Improvisation as survival instinct." Kelleth mused. "Fascinating. Also," Jake added with a slight smile, 12 seconds is actually kind of slow for me. I was being careful." The aliens exchanged glances. Somewhere in the Galactic database, a new entry was being written about human beings and their terrifying ability to weaponize literally anything in their environment. The entry would be Flagita's priority, reading for all military minds. I end the arena below. Maintenance crews were still trying to extinguish the last off Jake's improvised flames. They would burn for another 3 hours.